This is the market update. The age of the analyst begins. I'm your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, hit the thumbs up. The Bitcoin ETF, is it bullish? Oh my God, did he just question BlackRock? Yes, I did. We're going to talk about tactical asset allocation. Speaking of that, this show is brought to you by my Patreon group. Check the link in the description down below. It's patreon.com/unhinged crypto, where you get podcasts, tactical asset allocation for crypto. In other words, I'm bringing a little bit of Goldman Sachs and asset allocation and tactical baskets, theme trading, moving back and forth. 1000X is great. I'm looking for the 1000X. You're looking for the 1000X. I'm going to help you find it. In the meantime, there's nothing wrong with making 20 to 30% a day or 100% a week. We got a pretty good track record so far. Now, you're either new to crypto and you need to figure out what to do, or you came back to crypto and you need to know what to do, or you've been in crypto for a while and you're like, okay, it's up. Now what? Right? We have Bitcoin ETF. We have all kinds of distractions in the media. Then we have the idea of what's going to happen in 2024. I have an idea. The exact opposite of whatever the media and most pundits tell you. I'll give you my view. We'll do a little education as we review some of the things that people thought were important in 2023, which are now laughable. We're going to do Bitcoin, we're going to do Ethereum, and we are going to do Solana. Okay, let's see who's here. Wade T, first on the stream, welcome. Arroyco, Mike Rocks, welcome. FD Wright, great filibuster, coin operated, GF, the sports hobbyist, forget about it, is here. 23, Huckleberry Native, Luis. Luis has a distinction of being Patreon customer 100, to be followed by Loches to round out the 300th Spartan in the Patreon group. But I digress. I welcome you to the stream. Kaipa Fiat, welcome. Okay, news, let's go. Let's go. Okay. Happy New Year. This year we act in unison and work together. Want to be a Spartan? Want to be the best? Come with me. Arnold Schwarzenegger, get back in shape. We're going to get back in crypto shape. Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, Be Useful, 7 Tools for Life. Being that it's New Year's Day, I recommend this little workout pamphlet and Arnold's book. Chapter 2, which is work. We are going to outwork everybody. Spot Bitcoin ETF issuers could hear from the SEC as soon as Tuesday or Wednesday. Can I ask you something? Is anyone questioning why exactly the SEC is in such a hurry to hand the future of Bitcoin over to BlackRock? Is anyone asking that question? And if they are, what should we do about it? Right? Like, how is this all going to play out? Are we actually waiting for our arch enemies to like bless crypto so we can get involved? Or are we going to find new and exciting ways to thumb our nose at these clowns? More on that in the PowerPoint market update. Don't go anywhere. Wait till you see what I have to tell you about the BlackRock video on my YouTube channel. Still can't believe it. Bitcoin ETF to be a sell the news event. Do you think Gary thinks that it maybe is a sell the news event, that they want to get it out so fast so that maybe they can sell and push it down? Boy, I hope not. But boy, everybody really is on this sell the news thing. I got news for you. They may sell the news and it may be really volatile, but when all is said and done in January, I'm going to give you a hint for anybody that stayed with me this long. The game is to grab the Bitcoin before all these other big players have to come into the market, also known as front running. And then, of course, there's the idea of people being long the wrong thing. In other words, the institutions will chase Bitcoin, which is a great dollar alternative. More on that in a minute. But the Bitcoin ETF may be an excuse to indiscriminately moon certain altcoins that won't be in an ETF. How do you like them apples? Like Solana at $200. Is that possible? We should talk about it. Because when ETH was at 300, nobody thought it could go to 4,000. That's from the last cycle. Crypto Crystal Ball 2024. Will regulatory clarity come to the US? Is the media ever going to get off regulatory clarity? People, the only clarity that we need is that there's a need for a dollar alternative. And I got some great charts and slides to show it, even though you already know it. We're waiting for the government's position to rebel against the government. And we're cheering for BlackRock at the same time. The media is stupid. If you just arrived in crypto, here's a hint. You need to know two things, right? Where was the market in April of 2022? Where's the all-time high? And do the opposite of whatever the media says. If you know those three things, you are set for this cycle. You are set. You need a little research, a little charts, a little help, no problem. Come on over into the Patreon. Whatever the media says, regulatory clarity, do the opposite. Consensus, crypto conference last year, right before Celsius started, the whole conference was about regulatory clarity. No one cares. The only clarity is price, is the market, right? That's the clarity that we all need. Price. Price sends a message. More on that later. Exclusive. Coinbase conquers Canadian crypto market. Everyone hates Coinbase. Everyone, remember Coinbase when it was like, oh my God, Coinbase is dead. Coinbase is dead. Now that stock does nothing but go up. Kramer liked it at like, I don't know, 300. Now no one's talking about it. I love this. Will Gary Gensler survive? First is Gary Gensler going to kill us all? Now it's, will Gary Gensler survive? The answer is no. No. He's probably going to do the ETF and step down. Now, was Gary Gensler ever the enemy? Or was he just a guy taking orders from someone else? And why was he taking those orders? Like, why was Gary Gensler sicked on crypto with lawsuits that him and the lawyers he's working with at the government had to know was flimsy nonsense? Who is he taking orders from? What are they afraid of? That is what you should be thinking about in 2024. United States acts as top cop, setting the crypto standards for the world. Again, will the media ever get off regulation? These are the boldest Bitcoin predictions for 2024. For 1,000% rally to $500,000. All right. So let me save you having to read everybody's Bitcoin prediction. I like to use my social media as a sentiment indicator, right? Sometimes people are like, hey, that's a great knowledge drop. Sometimes people are getting emotional one way or the other. So here's a TikTok knowledge drop. 6,000 followers, 21,000 views on a piece that says 1% of the $56 trillion in pension funds worldwide, 1% allocations to Bitcoin means $56 billion coming into the ecosystem for just Bitcoin, resulting in a price of $250K in a year. That's with a 1% allocation. Shocking, right? Shocking how much money there is out there in legacy relative to what is available in crypto. This is why not only Bitcoin, but everything underneath Bitcoin could be in positions at certain points throughout 2024 to basically rally in spectacular fashion, right? Spectacular fashion in these like spurts, if you've ever seen the Olympics, I would make this like the 200-meter relay, right? One crypto is going to run. Then it's going to hand the baton to another crypto and it's going to run, which is why we've developed this tactical asset allocation thing where we have outperform, underperform, and perform as good as the market lists for the big altcoins, right? As we hunt for the next 100x. Now, the other thing that people are not talking about here is what happens with fiat. Remember long Bitcoin, short the banks? How did long Bitcoin, short the banks turn into, oh my God, BlackRock is coming to save us? What? And YouTube is full of this stuff. The Bitcoin ETF this, the Bitcoin ETF that. Whatever. What about the value of the currency, the dollar? Is anybody talking about the dollar? No, which is why we are going to talk about the dollar, and you are in the right place, which is why you should hit the like button and the subscribe button and turn on alerts and join Patreon. You get the point. Analyst 2024, the year crypto explodes. I actually have an idea for you. When equities bottomed in 2008, it triggered a 10-year bull market. What happens if this cycle lasts more than 10 years? What happens if this cycle in crypto lasts more than 2 years? And oh, by the way, is anyone talking about what drives the cycle? Everyone's like, oh, the bull market is here. 2020 was driven by they printed $6 trillion in 1 month. But no one's talking about what's going to drive this cycle. It's like, okay, we're going to wake up, we're going to push the green button, and we're going to be millionaires. But no one's really asking how that's going to happen, why it's going to happen, and then how to play it, right? It's like meme coin mania, casino, I get it. The meme coins are incentivizing people to go play on different networks, and I'm okay with that. But what people aren't asking themselves is outside the casino, what drives total crypto market cap to 10 trillion? In other words, there's a guy named Red Phone Crypto. He's got some sort of 70-point preview. This guy thinks 1 trillion total value locked in the DeFi system. In other words, the DeFi system at that point becomes its own mini banking system by the time this is over. What drives that? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. And this is what no one's talking about in the alleged 2024 previews. Nobody. Except me, of course. 4 cryptocurrency predictions. Okay. Big changes may be on the way for the Merles. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Right? That's what everything is done, right? The Bitcoin futures contract came out, they sold it. The Bitcoin ETF came out, they sold it. Coinbase IPO'd, they sold it. That's the number one idea, according to, oh my God, look at this in the corner if you can. It says the Motley Fool. The Motley Fool thinks you should sell the news. Everybody wants to sell the news. Okay. Sell the news for a month. And what happens if it doesn't go down a lot? What happens? In other words, if everyone's like, okay, we're going to sell the news and it doesn't really go down that much, what happens if it just gets volatile and choppy and you have like Darth Maul wicks, if anybody knows candlesticks, right? All the way up, all the way down. What happens if that's all you get? Then what are you going to do when everybody goes, oh no, I don't have enough of Bitcoin, blank, Solana? And what happens when everybody goes, well, if I can't buy Bitcoin, I'm going to grab ETH or Solana or whatever I can get my hands on. Okay. The ultra popular dull coins will continue to underperform. So this person's idea of a crypto prediction is to talk about Doge and Sheep. I mean, I'm probably over making this point, but if you're reading the news, you're not reading the right stuff. Okay, BRICS, 5 countries joined the group. So everybody is talking about all these countries that are trying to settle trades and try to buy and sell commodities in something other than the dollar. That's like the cool news, right? Okay. Instead, we should be talking about whether or not the government and the country attached to the dollar is governable or not. That can affect the value of a currency. We should be asking about the value of the dollar. Everyone's like, well, is the dollar the reserve currency or is it? Is people joining BRICS or not? Okay. Everyone joined BRICS and the dollar never went down. So talking about BRICS is not the right dollar discussion. We'll tell you what is. Central banks poised for rate cuts in 2024. Okay, so a word on rate cuts. So last year, everybody got scared about interest rates. As soon as they got too scared, the Fed said, okay, we're going to stop scaring you now, and we're going to do high-powered stimulus to help banks, and everything, including crypto, took off. Now, one thing that no one is asking is, what creates a dip in crypto? Like a real dip, like a 30 to 40% dip, which you can get in bull markets. How about a realization that either the Fed's not going to cut rates or something comes along where they have to cut rates like an emergency that creates chaos in capital markets? A 2024 preview should drive you to think. Now, for the moment, the removal of the tightening threat and having rate cuts in the future is nirvana for crypto, right? In other words, no more hawkish stuff, money being siphoned into the system, and no crisis that creates a rate cut. Perfect. If there's a sell the fact event, it's the rate cut itself. Because if they have to cut rates in an environment where inflation is still a problem, that's not going to be a good situation for any risky asset. The sell the fact event is the rate cut, not the Bitcoin ETF, in my opinion. U.S. office owners face $117 billion wall of debt repayment, which the Fed is currently printing high-powered money into the banking system to try to prevent a calamity. This says nothing about the amount of money that the Chinese are going to have to print. I mean, literally pallets of money may be dropping from the sky in China. That's how dire that situation is. And that's why Jerome Powell went from hawkish to dove-tard in like 2 or 3 weeks. Stampede into money market funds sparks fee bonanza in legacy. So what does this mean? Well, a lot of stocks went down last year. The big tech stocks did okay, but everything else got smashed. Bonds got smashed. So what did everybody do? They took their money, they put it in a 5% government bond, and they felt like geniuses. And then as soon as they got all locked up and they were like, I'm collecting 5%, Bitcoin was going up 5% before breakfast. And so were altcoins. Everything went up. 1000x on Solana. Everybody sitting in 5% government securities. The pain of groupthink. Do you realize that there is twice as much money available to go into risk assets like crypto and stocks than there was back in 2008 after probably the biggest scare ever? Twice as much money now available. Where is it all going? Do you know how many people are sitting in government securities at 5% that, or money market funds who also have Coinbase accounts? Right? I mean, people have Coinbase accounts. You can get on Coinbase. There's layer ones on there. One of the layer ones I think is on Coinbase. SEI is up 30% today. And it's a 2-hour wait to get on the network. On trades on Coinbase. Correct me if I'm wrong. What is going to happen when these people all go, oh, wow, gee, crypto. Oh, I'm really interested in that. Oh, yeah, my money's not keeping up with inflation. Oh, a good investing opportunity. Oh, cool. Boink. You're just going to have legacy people. This was the signal, the hand signal at the futures exchange for market buy. Market buy, market buy, market buy. Where's the supply going to come to meet this demand? There isn't any. There isn't any. The market's just going to have to readjust pricing for all this massive demand. Now let's talk about the dollar and the media. 2024 election, the battle for America's soul. Wrong. Yes, the thing with the border is serious. Yes, there's a lot of reasons to be upset about politics. If there's a thing you need to get, it's about the value of the dollar. And what happens to crypto when all these things come to pass and then the dollar starts to go down, right? Because there's so many reasons for the dollar to go down. I can't even list them all. I'm trying, but I can't list them all in a 1-hour live stream. Look at this. Washington puts forward a plan to confiscate $300 billion in private property or assets of a country that we don't like. The status of the reserve currency is designed based on integrity. Now, if we borrow too much money and people want to join BRICS and all that stuff, okay. But when you start using cancel culture to start taking people's assets because they're denominated in dollars and you control the dollar transmission system, you're essentially blowing up your own currency, perhaps on purpose, which is even more scary. Like, do they want to create a crisis? You know that old saying, never let a good crisis go to waste? I mean, this is probably BS, but this is unconscionable that you would just take private property denominated in dollars, no matter what you think of the other side or whose assets they are. You know, 1 minute it'll be the assets of a country that you don't like. The next minute it'll be you. The solution to this, the green button. Solana flooded with thousands of new tokens as traders hunt for the next 1000x, right? People selling current cryptocurrencies that are going to go up 500% to gamble on possible rug pulls. The guys who are in early used everybody who got in late for exit liquidity. There will be 1000x's in this cycle. They won't be what you think they are, right? Maybe they haven't come out yet, or maybe they are out there and everyone is not paying attention. The good news is that when you have network activity like this, Ethereum in 2020 has taught you that the more activity you have on the network, right, the small coins don't hold the value of what goes on the network. The layer one accrues the value. So if all this stuff's going on Solana, and then all this stuff's going to go on all these other networks, the layer ones themselves are going to capture the value. And if Solana has the phone and related airdrops going on with it, Solana is like Apple. Say this to yourself. Solana is the new Apple. And then look at the charts and look at the market cap of Apple at 3-something trillion. And then look at Solana and tell me Solana at $100 is reasonable. I mean, there was a point where ETH went through 175. And when ETH first went through 175, it went to 403 before it came back to 175. You think people are on fire because of 45K Bitcoin? How about Solana at 250? If Solana is in fact the next Apple. In other words, the 2024 preview should get you thinking about, hey, what are the big themes that matter? And who's talking about them? I am, which is why I want you to subscribe to the channel and join the Patreon. The link is down below. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the media. Bitcoin starts the new year off rising past 45K to the highest level since April. So that's what the media is giving you on Bitcoin. Personally, I think the end of January on Bitcoin is the way to go. And let the weirdness of the Bitcoin ETF thing come and go and let everybody get all chopped up over that. There is so much room on the upside in Bitcoin. Do you want to trade with CoinDesk today? I don't know. I don't know. But I know there's plenty of opportunity in crypto, and I know Bitcoin is going to be at its all-time high very soon. Just be careful of what you hear from the press. Okay, let's welcome who is on the stream. Bull Runner, Matt, don't let me forget to look at Galaxy. Okay. Bastomatic is asking me about potential political candidates. Okay. Here's what I can tell you about politics. The president of the United States, regardless of who it is going to hate 100K Bitcoin. At 250K Bitcoin, they'll be huddled in the war room because it'll be a crisis. I understand there's a lot of things in politics to get upset about. One commentator in Austin, Texas, George Friedman, calls it good old-fashioned American rage. It's actually not new. The 82nd Airborne was deployed to Detroit in 1970. The 82nd Airborne was a famous military unit, made even more famous by things like movies like Saving Private Ryan, documenting what these guys did in World War II. They were deployed to a U.S. city in 1970 because of social disorder. Anger in this country is not new. The country was founded on anger. What you have to worry about is how that anger and disorder impacts the dollar. And according to this analyst, George Friedman, 2028 is the election where you have to build a bunker for, because AGI will be online at the time. So again, everyone's talking about politics. I get it. I get it. Focus on the Fed and the dollar. Raymond, pancakes and peanut butter. What's up? Huckleberry Native, Prince Kajal, welcome. Gustavo, Phantom. Yes, I agree. Phantom, last half of 2024 could be smoking. MPS, the Don, Buck Z, Raj, Wedge Changer, what's up? 45K, Buck Z, Cat D, welcome. Straight Hedge, Johannes, coin operated. Right on. Right? Great filibuster. Bull runner. New names. Ashton. Ocho. Welcome. Kaipa. Luis. 23. Jan. Hi. Lloyd. Cali Traders 8. Is this live? Yes, sir, it is. It most certainly is. GF. Welcome. Okay. PowerPoint, market update. Absolutely, absolutely must-see material. Here we go. Okay, here we go. This show is brought to you by my Patreon. Tactical asset allocation. The age of the analyst has begun. Okay, we have an outperform list, an underperform list, meaning things that will beat the market, things that will not beat the market, things that will do as well as the market. That's what market perform means. Where is your favorite coin on the list? Only one way to find out, folks. You can go to Starbucks and get $15 worth of stuff and sugar crash, or you can come on down. Now, this is funny. Here is the list, which you cannot read, which is okay, because I'm going to edit it for you. Here is the list of all the things that Watcher Guru and the media says were important last year. So let's all have a laugh. U.S. judge rules XRP is not a security. No one cares. BlackRock officially files for spot Bitcoin ETF. Okay. BlackRock CEO says crypto is digital gold and Bitcoin is an international asset. Liar, liar, pants on fire. You just want to push the little guy out. SBF found guilty on all charges. Shocking news. Who cares? SBF was irrelevant the day the last thing was, the day that Solana hit 9 was SBF was done. Media wrote about it all year and missed the whole rally. Elon Musk tells advertisers who are trying to blackmail him to go somewhere. Very relevant. Because when he said that, the market took off. And people don't remember this. They don't associate one with the other. Russia to use Chinese yuan to settle trades. Who cares? Fed's Jerome Powell says crypto appears to have staying power as an asset class. Don't you love economists? They always have these great insights. Now, CZ resigns as head of Binance. Very relevant. You know why? Because that was the last straw. That was the last shot the government had to take. CZ separated from his family, considered a potential fugitive. The second that hit the tape, everything went up. Everything went up because it was the last gasp of 2022. So we've only got 3 relevant ones so far. Coinbase relists XRP. XRP went from persecution to the desert, like in the book of Exodus. Didn't matter. XRP probably not going up until later in the year. Chinese yuan overtakes US dollar in China. Who cares? Saudi Arabia enters alliance with countries in Asia. Who cares? Did that make you money? What is that why the market's going up? No. It's why the dollar should be lower, but that's not what the media is telling you. Argentinian president plans to replace the peso with the dollar and shut down the central bank. Very relevant. Imagine that. Somebody gets elected and go, you know what? I think I'm going to open up the economics textbook. Oh, wow. Look at what I have here. Let's turn around a country like that. Very relevant. Turkish crypto exchange sentenced to literally 12,000 years in prison. SEC drops lawsuit. SEC everything last year. Laughable. It's all you heard. YouTube, everybody. SEC, nobody cares. It's a football conference. Crypto asset manager Grayscale wins lawsuit against SEC. Good headline, but the amount of Bitcoin that Grayscale holds, like 500,000, who is going to win the bidding war for that Bitcoin? That is what you should be thinking about, because the only way these guys can get the amount of Bitcoin that they need is to buy companies that own it. Coinbase sues SEC, and El Salvador president cuts taxes. Favors Bitcoin, very relevant. Hong Kong court recognizes cryptocurrencies as property, perhaps the most important. When China prints money and Hong Kong is open for business in crypto, what do you think is going to happen? Do you realize that there was a story floated by the Wall Street Journal that 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds in mainland China believe the only way to create generational wealth is to win the lottery? Do you realize what's going to happen when those people discover crypto throughout this cycle, particularly if they can access it out of Hong Kong somehow? They're playing the lottery, young people. Gen Z wakes up and figures this out about crypto. Forget about it. I mean, it's just going to be, it's going to be like all of crypto is going to become GameStop or meme stocks, if anybody remembers that. Meme stocks were a group of stocks that were heavily shorted by institutions that people on the internet just decided to band together literally and moon heavily shorted stocks, sending them to unbelievable levels. Could you imagine if every coin is a meme coin? Let me say that again. Can you imagine if every coin is a meme coin or a meme stock to Gen Z who comes in and hits the green button? Chinese property giant files for bankruptcy, and they're going to have to print money. That's the real meaning of that headline, but they didn't say that. Terra founder Do Kwon arrested. Please. U.S. government arrests SafeMoon founders. Oh my God, I can't believe that was actually a story. BlackRock names JP Morgan as an authorized participant for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Who cares? That's like going to a cocktail party on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day and going, you know, I just got this great new oil filter in my car. I want to tell you a story about how oil filters work. Who cares how the spot Bitcoin ETF works? Who cares what JP Morgan's role is? We're talking about cryptocurrency. We're fixated on these headlines. And UK government plans to establish digital asset crypto hub. And okay. So from 2023, the media has told you that all these things were important, yet in reality, only this handful was. BlackRock files, Elon tells people where to go, CZ ends the bear market, Argentina and El Salvador become first world countries, and Hong Kong wants to play in crypto. You can cancel subscriptions to like 6 crypto news services now. This is the age of the analyst, not the age of the influencers. Influencers raged all year about Gensler. Who cares? Now they're raging about BlackRock. It matters and it doesn't. I can tell you why it matters. It's a distraction. I'll get to it right now. Okay. Let's talk about the guys everyone's cheering for or not. Right? BlackRock, Skynet, the Terminator. Listen to this. I have been on YouTube for a couple of years. The last year I've been on my own, and I'm not going to lie, the struggle is real. Now, I have 4.68K followers, but who's counting? Now, I have never had a video, because I don't try to piggyback on other people's videos. I have never had a video, a live stream or a short, get more views than I had followers. In other words, I have never had a video on YouTube reach escape velocity. Happens on TikTok, but not this platform. Then all of a sudden, I do a video called "Why Does BlackRock Want a Bitcoin ETF?" And I get 7,000 views. Now let's talk about this. The algorithm, Silicon Valley, whatever, they want you to hear about Bitcoin and BlackRock. They don't want you to hear about Bitcoin. They want you to hear about Bitcoin and BlackRock. So we have BlackRock, the Terminator, working with Skynet from Silicon Valley, and it gives me the creeps. If you watch that video, I appreciate it. I will definitely take the 7K views. But I'm like, of all the things I've ever said, that's what goes kind of mini viral? Really? People, BlackRock, first BlackRock was the savior. Now BlackRock's going to take all the Bitcoin. Okay. I don't think either is the case. The ultimate game is to get in front of all the BlackRocks and buy it before they buy it and make them buy it at the top or try to start a bidding war for MicroStrategy. The fact that the SEC is in a hurry to work with these guys scares me a little. It does. It's something doesn't add up. Now, I know that the reason that BlackRock wants this, or anybody would want it from an investment point of view, is because there's a problem with the dollar. It's just really funny that the government happens to agree with them. Okay. But just remember this, when they want you to focus on BlackRock, because everything last year was SEC and everything for the next 10 or 20 days is going to be all about this ETF. We should be thinking about cryptocurrency. We should be thinking about the future of technology, not this. This makes great theater. But just like everything I told you about last year, where there's like 20 stories and only 5 of them were relevant, and I made you sit through the PowerPoint editing, it's already started. Oh, we're going to have regulation. We're going to have BlackRock. We're going to have clarity. We're going to have this. No. We're going to have a fiat currency crisis. And we're going to have a need to have AI on the blockchain. And we're going to need decentralized technology everywhere, because Skynet and the Terminator in one form or another is coming. That is what should be in your 2024 preview. Again, the battle for America's soul. I don't think so. Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. If you read Bloomberg, Bloomberg is like, Jerome Powell deserves a medal for conquering inflation. Jerome Powell had a heroic 2023. Really? Everything at Costco went up 100% because they left rates too low for too long. Then, to be fair, Powell gets left holding the bag and has to over-tighten, blowing up certain banks, and then all of a sudden he backs off out of nowhere and no one asks questions, and he gets a medal. Amazing. Amazing. It's like the media has created this huge mirage around the Fed. Everyone's like, oh my God, America will fall. Maybe you have to worry about that for 2028. But what is the American institution that's going to get challenged in 2024? Well, that's easy. The one that the media is giving a medal to. You don't have to know anything else. That's why I went through that whole song and dance. Media is like, oh, Jerome Powell gets a medal. And then 9 months from now, we'll be laughing because there'll be a crisis of confidence with either the Fed, the Bank of Japan, or both. What drives a cryptocurrency cycle? Meme coins? Meme coins can drive the first leg, but what drives the entire cycle? Like not just up, but up and up and up and up and up and up. Is it the Bitcoin ETF? Maybe. There's already a Bitcoin ETF. Why haven't they bought it now? It's because we don't have a currency crisis yet. So if we have a currency crisis and we have the ETF products, that's what makes it go up. These guys are going to lose credibility. They're going to lose credibility because, right? They raise rates and the media wants to create some kind of narrative about anything regarding the administration. But has anybody actually thought about what could happen to these guys if they lose credibility and what could happen to the value of the dollar? Not the end of the world, but just the dollar itself. Okay, we covered this. Now let's take a look at the dollar. Whoops. Here's the dollar. Here's 1985 when they decided that the dollar was going to go lower, and George Soros, before he came evil, did one of the greatest trades ever. It was when the dollar went down, he continued to sell when everyone was covering their shorts, and it did nothing but go down thereafter. Okay? This is what happens when everyone decides that the dollar should go lower. That's what happened in 1985. Now we have everybody talking about, oh, BRICS and the dollar. Yeah, okay, great. What's the dollar done? Nothing. 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 Right? This is a fib speed resistance fan line. The dollar obviously did this huge false breakout. Bloomberg telling you the dollar was unstoppable right here. The dollar breaks down. This is a quarterly chart. There's nobody home until 85. Dollar index is like a 101. Every day I see it above 100. I just can't believe it. This is what happens when the dollar went down in 2002, just straight down. Straight down. Like, people don't realize that 2024 is the year of foreign exchange. Currencies, the dollar, the yen, Bitcoin, right? Ethereum, even Solana, Litecoin. I know everyone's laughing. Maybe Bitcoin Cash, right? Anything that can be used as money. And then I actually think near the end of 2024 is when XRP takes off. Can you imagine another 11 months of exodus in the desert? XRP escapes from Egypt and then has to spend time in the desert before it can get to the promised land. Crypto as money. Because when this goes down, people, where's support? Oh, at 85. Things happen in threes, right? 1985 to 1992, 2002 to 2007. How long can this crypto cycle last? I don't know. As long as it takes for this to go to 60 or 50. I'll take 50. The dollar index should lose half of its value. Just because of all the things you already know, it just is not priced into the market yet. It will be priced and it will drive crypto. You will be trading currencies. You will be very cognizant of, for example, where the dollar is versus the yen. You will know these things by the end of next year. Now, everyone always talks about Lambo. Let's do a little tongue in cheek if we can get away with it and talk about Wen Girlfriend. Zero Hedge article talking about, how men and women feel about each other. First thing they say is women have suffered a far more pronounced drop in happiness. So apparently this idea that, women should go out and do whatever it is society is telling them to do is not making them happy. And then this truly unbelievable statistic for men, 63% of men under 30 are now single, up from 51% in 2019. The majority of single men say this by choice. They are avoiding relationships. The consensus appears to be that modern Western relationships cost too much. So here's what you got. You got women, they're unhappy for whatever reason. Men are avoiding women because of economic stress. Now, what happens if you go up to a woman who is unhappy for whatever reason and say, hey, have you heard about crypto? The 300th person, the 300th Spartan in my group, the Patreon group, a Spartan woman. What happens if you go, hey, you want to stop working that night shift? How about come to crypto? And what about all these guys under 30? Hey, how about get a Phantom wallet, and you're in business. Why do you think I'm showing all this stuff from all this boomer stuff like 300 and Arnold Schwarzenegger workout books and self-help books? Why did I pick that? Well, do you think these people under 30, do you think they want it to be this way? Do you think people want to be unhappy and not have relationships? Or do you think they want to be free? Right? In other words, push the green button, your life improves. The things you think you can't have, you can have. The world wants to divide you. The world wants to make you upset. I want to get you in the game. I want you to get an Arnold Schwarzenegger workout book. I want you to get out of that night shift job. I want you to find somebody to be with. How does that happen? This is the philosophical angle behind crypto. It's not just about meme coins. Now, sometimes I've said this. Sometimes it's been right. Sometimes it's been wrong. Look at these numbers. This is what drives a cycle. The green button is happiness. It's happiness. It's freedom. It's why Elon bought Twitter. Now, in my Patreon group, what are we looking for? We're looking for the next ICP. We're looking for the next Bitcoin that's got a value proposition that's going to blow through resistance, right? This basically unwound most of at least the FTX debacle in one fell swoop, right? And look at this down move that started over here. You see how far this fell and how fast it fell? Yep, people, they can all go straight back up the same way and we can just start over, meaning it's like a do-over. We had an artificial down move, we had depression, and then we're just going to unwind all of it, all at once. The next ICP. Now, you can find out where we think ICP is now after this ramp in Patreon. We're trying to find the next ICP. Now, again, I'm not hating on this, but everything's going to trade like this. Everything's going to find a chart point and blow through it. Total free. Total altcoin market cap. 603 billion, currently at 515 billion. So how is total free, which is total altcoin market cap, in other words, total market cap, minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, take that out and have it go up $80 billion. How's that going to happen? Well, it's got to be Solana at 200 for sure. Why not? And not to mention whatever goes with it. A lot of things can go with it. Or maybe Solana does it all on its own. You know, our outperform list is really not that big. Everything looks like it's going up now. But once this Bitcoin ETF thing starts and really gets real on the tape in terms of actual news flow instead of rumors, right? People may just say, you know what? I think I want to buy Solana. And I'll buy Bitcoin at the end of the month after they're done with the gymnastics. Maybe, right? I mean, Bitcoin's going right to 62K when it starts rallying. The question is, what is not going to be in the hands of BlackRock right now? That would be Solana and some of the bigger altcoins. Again, Solana, this is something I used to use at Goldman. The orange line is the last 100 days in Solana. The blue line is a computerized match for the orange line and what happened thereafter in the past. So the orange is the present. The blue line is the past matched with the present and then showing you what happened the last time it looked like this. And wouldn't you know that the computer thinks it's a 95% match with Solana going totally parabolic. And I put this in my Patreon for free. Yes, there is a free section of the Patreon. So, you know, I get it. If you're working hard, get in the free section because you got this 3 days ago or 4 days ago when Solana was down and everyone's like, oh, it's going to correct and whatever. How's it going to correct when history points to a parabolic ascent? I don't know. I leave it up to you. This is what happened to Solana back in August of 2021, where those two charts match up. It went up 219% in 14 days. Now, is that going to happen again? Well, I don't know. Maybe not that big, but how much can Solana go up in 14 days? Let's do it that way. What did you think before the stream, and what do you think now? Matt is like, don't forget the Galaxy chart. Matt, I'm not going to forget the Galaxy chart. I'm going to write it down. But I have seen Mike Novogratz on Instagram wearing a cowboy hat. That may be all you need to know. Solana was only able to retrace 23% of its recent move higher. That's consistent from something I've seen in equities, where hot technology plays can only retrace very small amounts of a rally. So this thing went from 20 to 120, and all you can get is a 23% retracement. Normally, you get a 62% retracement, which is probably why some people think Solana could go to 60. It could. But how is that going to happen with everybody with the phone out ready to hit the green button? I don't know. I don't. Algorand. What else are we looking for? Hey, we're talking about this in my Patreon group. How simple is it? Well, you find something with this rounded bottom. In other words, down, recover, refresh, IV, spot treatment, boom. Your 60-second tutorial in technical analysis. Down, IV, spot treatment, boom. That's it. Don't need the $60 book. Arbitrum helps ETH work better. So there's your rounding bottom, except after the spot treatment, you have to go through a workout. You have to go through hell. It's choppy. You can't get in. Every time you get in, you get stopped out. Every time it looks like it's breaking out, it comes back down. It's called the teacup and the handle is awful. And then when you exit the awful, when you exit the desert, right? This is captivity. This is the desert. Boom. I mean, this could be stupid in terms of how like emotional it could get because of the power of this bottom. In other words, Arbitrum, I can't say which other coin, certain other coins in Patreon may have to reset themselves. Okay, again, Solana, there's a DeMark price, automated support and resistance line at 111. It's not backing off. Find a resistance point and then ask yourself, is it backing off? If the answer is no, then ask yourself what could happen if it breaks through. Again, don't need the chart book. Don't need it. It's that simple. Solana breaks through 111, you're looking at 140. And if it's through 140, then it's, I don't know, pick a number, 200. Like, these periods, Solana was going straight down, straight down. See how Solana unwound all this? This was down only for FTX. Then it was up only. Solana's like back to equilibrium. Now we get to actually vote. What do you think of Solana? Is it the next Apple? Buy resistance phase. Again, ROSE. Okay. This was a prior low. This is where it crashed from. And then ROSE comes right up to resistance and sits there. This is what we're looking for in Patreon. Rune. Bonus coverage. Do you know there's a guy named Red Phone Crypto who thinks there's going to be $1 trillion total value locked in DeFi? And he was into Rune last cycle. This thing went from down to 50 cents. It went from 50 cents to $7. And look at them selling it tonight. Look at them selling it. I mean, if Rune takes out $6.48, it could go to $10. And everyone's too scared to buy it because it went from 50 cents to $8. It reminds me of the people who bought ETH at 8 and sold it at 30 and thought they were geniuses. You don't understand where we are in the cycle. You got to understand what drives the cycle, right? Dollar problem, different type of banking system, DeFi revival, cross-chain trading. I mean, do you understand how big this stuff is when you start mixing in this like legacy Fed narrative into this crypto ecosystem that's just so hot and wants to explode? They're going to give it a reason. Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the market update. Okay. Jeanette, good evening. Good evening to our brothers and sisters in crypto. Steve says 176. And Matt, you thought I forgot, but I didn't. Crypto equities. Man, they love selling this stuff, don't they? They bought it, then they sold it. Oh my God, these guys were crazy. Like some of these crypto stocks were up like 20%, and then they went down 20%. And now they're all going to walk into work tomorrow morning and go, wow, why didn't we buy it again? What? Oh, because you weren't paying attention, right? Like Galaxy gets close to this gap from May. Galaxy Digital is a crypto hedge fund run by Mike Novogratz, who was an ex-Goldman guy who formed a crypto hedge fund when a crypto hedge fund was a joke. And now he is publicly telling people that they're hoovering up everything they can get their hands on. And if they're writing about that in the news media, he's been at it for over a year and a half. That it's like they're just going to buy it all. Like, how's BlackRock going to buy Bitcoin? I don't know, but I know Galaxy's going to buy it first, because how's BlackRock going to get the Bitcoin? They're going to call Galaxy, because Galaxy is like the investment bank of crypto. They're like the aorta of the over-the-counter universe that really pumps the blood to the system. So, wow. The aorta of crypto is worth $10. Really? This is a Jesse Livermore accumulation cone. Everyone's afraid. No one wants to buy it in front of a gap at 13. Okay. Every time they stop short in front of a price that they're afraid of, when they go through it and they're not afraid anymore, it goes through that price. They get that Arnold Schwarzenegger workout book, forget about it. 27. Okay. The high in Galaxy is 44. So the aorta of crypto is currently trading at 10. They were selling it with reckless abandon at the end of 2023. They were selling it at 10, and the high is 43. Where's it going? T-Bone. By the way, I want to thank T-Bone, Silver Freedom, Rich, all these guys on Twitter. There's more, I know. I can't list them all, but there's people every time I put out a tweet, they are actively telling people, hey, check out what Bill's doing. Who's talking about MicroStrategy going to $1,000? Nobody. MicroStrategy's high was $1,300 back in 2021. And the final thing I'll leave you with is this. I did a paper in graduate school in 2002 about some sort of accounting controversy that MicroStrategy was involved in. Apparently, they had some creative way of accounting for software revenue. Some accounting board had a problem with it. We were tasked with writing a paper saying, just presenting an argument that they did something right, that it wasn't as bad or bad at all. But Michael Saylor had to live with that, right? Michael Saylor had to live. Here it is. Sorry, it was over here. Michael Saylor had to live with the crash from $2,000 to $3. This was the accounting scandal. Now, that's a lot of pain. You had pain in 2000, and this thing did nothing. This thing did nothing for how long? Think about it. Think about sitting in your office thinking about a mistake that you made 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Let me ask you something. Now that Michael Saylor has got everyone on the run, do you think he's ever going to sell any of that Bitcoin? Ever. Okay? And when people start coming after companies, what do you think they're going to have to pay to get MicroStrategy? This is like, I don't know. I don't even know if this is accurate. The high was like 3,000 during the internet boom. MicroStrategy is overpriced, really. You can barely see the diamond bottom here. You know who's going to pay $3,000 for MicroStrategy? BlackRock. That's how high this thing can go. The only question is, can you jump from thing to thing? Because it may not go up all at once. That's the trick. But every time it goes down, like it's easy to look at this chart on a big green day and go, oh yeah. But when it's going down, part of what we had in Patreon is some lessons from famous hedge fund manager Stan Druckenmiller goes, it's perfectly natural when the market's going down, it takes all you have to not sell. It's just human emotion, right? So do you need a lesson on human emotion, or do you need to understand your emotions, or read the Arnold Schwarzenegger book and then go do the Arnold Schwarzenegger workout, or just even get up in the morning and stand at the door at 7 a.m.? I don't know, anything. If you can tell yourself to do it and then do it, that's how you make it in this cycle. And you get some real research too, because the age of the analyst is here. Conviction, right? The basics, the dollar, the real thing that drives the cycle. Fade the media. Okay? That's what you're going to need in 2024. Get in Patreon, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you soon.